The Mario Galaxy games are honestly some of my favorite video games of all time. Their brilliant level design, excellent soundtrack, and vibrant and nostalgic atmosphere make them an absolute blast to play, even after all these years. But one thing about these games I don't think gets talked about enough is all the unique power-ups they have to offer. So that's why in this video, I'll be ranking all 13 power-ups in Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 from worst to best, so we can see which ones are good and well designed, and which ones are literally infamous for being terrible. Anyway, with all that said, and without further ado, let's get into the ranking. Number 13, the Spring Mushroom. Yeah, the Spring Mushroom sucks ass. Do I even need to explain why at this point? I guess I should. There's so much wrong with this power-up, but let's start with the obvious. First of all, for something that has the premise of making your mobility better, goddamn does it make moving around difficult. I guess the devs thought it would be a good idea to make a power-up that takes away almost all of your movement options, and spoiler, that was in fact not a good idea. So not only does the Spring Mushroom prevent you from using long jumps, backflips, spins, and all the other jumps that make moving around in Galaxy so fun, but it also prevents you from walking and instead forces you to bounce around like this to move, which is both harder to control and noticeably slower than walking normally. The only slightly positive thing the Spring Mushroom does is allow you to jump higher than you can with regular jumps, but a backflip and a spin gets you almost the same amount of height, so like, what's the point? And that brings me to my next point, this thing is entirely avoidable. Seriously, if you're good enough at controlling Mario, you can do all the jumps that are supposed to require the Spring Mushroom without it. Usually just with a simple backflip and spin, and sometimes with a wall jump, but even then it's still pretty easy to avoid. Hey, so I realized while editing this video that that's actually not true. I said that the Spring Mushroom is entirely skippable, but it turns out there's actually a star in Matter Splatter Galaxy where you need to use the Spring Mushroom to progress. That doesn't make the Spring Mushroom any less bad, but I just thought the mistake was worth mentioning. Okay, that's it, back to the video. So to recap, Spring Mario is less fun, less fast, and less easy to control than regular Mario, and on top of that, you're never required to use him in any level across the hundreds of different stars in both Galaxy games. But you wanna know what makes all of this even worse? The Spring Mushroom was first introduced in Galaxy 1, and over 2 years later, when Galaxy 2 released, they brought it back. The dev team really looked at the worst fucking power-up in the whole Mario franchise and were like, yeah, this is a good, worthwhile addition, we should bring it back for the next game. Like, why? Why would you ever do that? What the hell was even the reasoning behind that? Anyway, I'm done talking about this thing, let's just move on to the next power-up. Number 12, the Bulb Berry. I'm gonna be honest, this one's just really boring. Like, what do you even want me to say about the Bulb Berry? I guess it's kinda cool how its whole gimmick is practically just letting you play the game, but with a timer added on. I guess it's kinda cool how it forces you to use Yoshi, and I guess it's kinda cool how it's only ever used in one pretty forgettable galaxy. I mean, I like Sweet Mystery Galaxy, it's fun and all, but like, the Bulb Berry doesn't really add anything to it. I don't know, man, I don't really have anything to say about this power-up, it just kind of exists. Oh, actually I do have one pretty funny thing to say. So on the back of the box art for Mario Galaxy 2, there's some drawings showing off the transformations new to Galaxy 2, and all of them are here except for the Bulb Berry. Now I don't know why, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I just find that funny, honestly. And that's it. Yeah, I quite literally don't have anything else interesting to say about the Bulb Berry, so I guess we could just move on to the next part now. Number 11, the Spin Drill. Bet you forgot about that one, didn't you? Yeah, don't worry, I did as well before I started to write the script for this video. So the Spin Drill lets you dig into the ground to come out the other way. This is mostly used in Spin Dig Galaxy where you need the Spin Drill to access some out of reach places or to get some objects hidden in the ground. It's also used in Bowser's Galaxy Generator for some reason. And this is yet another pretty boring power-up. It feels very gimmicky and not really in a good way, and it once again limits your movement for no reason. Like, why the hell can I wall jump without my hands, but I can't crouch because I'm holding a drill? How does that make any sense, Nintendo? Honestly, the only thing really holding the Spin Drill back from being lower is that Dig-a-Leg is actually a pretty solid boss fight. And that's pretty much the only good thing I could say about this power-up. Let's just move on now so we can hopefully get to the good ones soon. Number 10, the blimp fruit. Hey, remember 4 seconds ago when I said I wanted to get to the good power-ups? Yeah, we're not there yet. This is just another Yoshi power-up that's barely even helping. Except this time it lets you fly instead of just curing your blindness, which is inherently a lot cooler, so it gets extra points for that. Although it loses points for the atrocity that is Blimp Yoshi. Seriously, what is that? Poor Yoshi, man. Yeah, jokes aside though, the blimp fruit is once again a pretty forgettable power-up. When Yoshi eats it, he starts slowly flying up for a few seconds before inevitably falling to his death. Honestly, anytime I come across a blimp fruit in Galaxy 2, I just try to avoid it, cause platforming around the level is usually more fun than just waiting for Yoshi to slowly gain height. All in all, this power-up had a cool concept, just not a very good execution. Number 9, the Rainbow Star. Now we have the classic Superstar, except it's rainbow for some reason. It works the same way as it does in other games. You pick it up and you become invincible and can run faster. There's not that much to say about it. I mean, it's used somewhat creatively in Galaxy 2, in Yoshi Star and Shiverburn Galaxy's Prankster Comets, where you need to take out a bunch of enemies with the Rainbow Star and a time limit. It's also used in that one section of Sand Spiral in the first game, and that's about it. Its other uses are exactly what you'd expect from a power-up like this, just being used as a little bonus to kill enemies more easily. It can be very fun to use, which is a step up from pretty much every previous power-up, but it's really nothing special. Moving on. Number 8, the Bee Mushroom. Honestly, we're really getting near the middle of the list now, so the next 3 power-ups and the Bee Mushroom are all kind of equally as good. I didn't really know where to place them, so keep in mind that places 8 through 5 are power-ups that I pretty much like equally, and they could realistically exchange places. Anyway, back to the Bee Mushroom. When Myra eats one of these, he becomes a bee, and gains the ability to fly with a little fly meter that depletes while flying and recharges when you're on the ground. You can also walk on flowers and clouds and stick to honeycombs with the bee suit, which you can't do with regular Mario. This is actually used pretty well, for the most part, in Galaxy 1 and 2, and usually the Bee Mushroom really adds to the challenge and fun of a galaxy. The only slightly negative thing I have to say about it is that flying around with it does feel a little slow. Still, it has a nice theme and balanced mechanics, and it's just fun to use. Moving on to the next one. Number 7, the Fire Flower. Much like the Rainbow Star, this power-up pretty much works the same way it always has. You can shake the Wii Remote to throw fireballs, which can be used to kill enemies. The only difference is that this time, the Fire Flower is on a timer, so a few seconds after picking it up, you'll go back to regular Mario. This power-up surprisingly has a lot of interesting uses, considering how basic it is. I mean, just being able to shoot fireballs, especially on a time limit, seems like a pretty boring gimmick, but the Fire Flower is actually used in some very creative ways. For example, Squizzard, a pretty good boss fight that's centered around the Fire Flower, where you have to shoot fireballs at him when his mouth is open, while trying to avoid the giant balls of shit he throws at you. There's also the crate-breaking stars in Galaxy 2, and the fireballs can be used to light torches, which can reveal pathways and secrets, like a 1-up mushroom for example. Oh, and there's also this glitch where if you crouch and spin your Wii Remote really fast at the same time, you can spit out a bunch of fireballs really quickly. It has nothing to do with the ranking, I just think that glitch is really funny. Anyway, good power-up, nice job Mario Galaxy devs. Let's go to the next one. Number 6, the Boo Mushroom. And we have yet another flying power-up. Damn, why is that such a recurring theme in the Mario series? So to be honest, this power-up is kinda carried by its theme for me. I just think playing as a Boo is a really cool and novel concept. And on top of that, the Boo Mushroom works really well with Ghostly and Boo Moon Galaxy's themes of taking place in a spooky, abandoned building that are also not that spooky because this is still a Mario game. The race that uses the Boo Mushroom against the spooky speedster, yes, that's his official name, is pretty fun too. Otherwise, the power-ups mechanics work fine. You can fly by pressing the A button repeatedly, which makes you gain a bit of height every time, and this time around, there's no meter limiting how long you can fly for, which is definitely a plus. Although flying around and gaining height is pretty slow, which I guess can add a bit of challenge, but mainly it just makes the Boo Mushroom feel pretty sluggish to use. You can also shake the Wii Remote to temporarily become invisible, which allows you to phase through certain walls. Boos are also gay for Boo Mario for some reason, and you lose the power-up if you go under a lamp, just like regular Boos die when they make contact with light. Overall, a pretty solid power-up with a cool theme attached to it. The Boo Mushroom really just slaps. Number 5, the Ice Flower. The Ice Flower is like the Fire Flower, but cooler. Upon collecting one of these, Mario will turn into ice and make any water he comes in contact with freeze immediately. So basically, he just put on a pair of Frostwalker boots. Touching water as Ice Mario will make a little ice platform appear, which you can walk and skate on, and also wall jump off of if you ever come across a fully vertical stream of water. The Ice Flower in this game is honestly really cool, and it's a shame that it was used in Galaxy 1 but not brought back in Galaxy 2, because I guess the fucking spring mushroom was a bigger priority. Okay, but on a more serious note, the Ice Flower is already used very well in Galaxy 1. Like in Freeze Flying Galaxy, for example, where you need to triple jump on these water sprinklers with the Ice Flower to access a secret star. Or in Beach Bowl Galaxy, where you climb up this planet by wall jumping on waterfalls to reach the top, where you'll need to make a little path across water for a Cataquack using the Ice Flower so it can shoot you up to this power star. This power-up had a ton of potential, and I think it would have worked really well with Galaxy 2's level design. Like, come on, tell me the Ice Flower wouldn't just fit perfectly with Cosmic Cove Galaxy. In the first star, you literally skate on ice and chain wall jumps off a frozen waterfall. It's a perfect match. It's honestly really unfortunate they didn't bring back the Ice Flower for the sequel, but aside from that, it's still a really good power-up that very much deserves to be in the top 5. Number 4, the Red Star. Man, is this one good. So when Mario picks up a red star, he turns into Flying Mario. And not only does he get the coolest looking pair of overalls I've ever seen, he also gains the ability to start flying by shaking the Wii Remote. And for once, this is actually a flight power-up with no real limitation. You don't have anything controlling how long you can fly for, and it doesn't feel slow to fly around with this thing. It's great. The Red Star is just super fun to use, especially in a 3D space, and now you might be wondering why it's not higher if I keep praising it so much. Well, that's because the Red Star goes so underused, it honestly hurts. For starters, it was in Galaxy 1 but not brought back in Galaxy 2. But that's not even why I'm saying it's underused. That's because it's literally used in one level. It's seen in one single Power Star in Gateway Galaxy and that's it. And the worst part is, that mission's not even good. You just use the Red Star to collect some purple coins on a small planet, and bam, you're done. You won't see the Red Star being used in a galaxy again for the rest of the game. I mean, you also unlock it in the Comet Observatory after beating Gateway Galaxy, but that's not a level, it's just a hub. And besides, the only thing the Red Star is good for in the observatory is exploring the place and maybe finding a hidden 1-up or 2, which is really not that interesting of a use for such a great power-up. So all in all, the Red Star itself is amazing, but because of how underused it is, I can't see myself putting it any higher than this. Number 3, the Rock Mushroom. I'm gonna get straight to the point here. The only reason it's this high is because of Melty Monster Galaxy, specifically the 2nd and 3rd stars. But before we really talk about that, let me first explain how the Rock Mushroom works. So after Mario eats one of these, his spin now makes him turn into a big boulder and quickly dash in front of him until he hits something. This allows him to kill enemies and destroy obstacles like big rocks, snow statues, and bigger rocks. Now this on its own would already be a pretty solid power-up. It's a fun and useful ability, but to bring up what I was talking about earlier, what really makes the Rock Mushroom shine is Melty Monster's 2nd and 3rd stars. Both of these levels are kind of like bowling minigames that use the Rock Mushroom, and wow, are they amazing. Genuinely some of the best stars in Galaxy 2. The first one's a really fun obstacle course, where you roll down this planet at high speed with the Rock Mushroom. There's a bunch of jumps and turns to make, some Octo Goombas to kill, and crystals that give you star bits when you run into them. And the second one is a literal bowling session in Mario Galaxy 2. It's another one of the Chimps challenges, and it's easily the most creative and exciting one of the bunch. In this one, you go through a bunch of these mini planets that all contain pins that you need to knock down for points. Each of these mini planets have a different layout, making it increasingly more difficult to run into these pins without falling off the edge. And you need to have rolled over enough pins by the end to have 5,000 points to win the challenge. This 1 star might honestly be the best way possible to show how amazing and creative Galaxy 2's level design is. Like, how did the devs even look at this and came up with the idea of making a bowling minigame? I think it really goes to show how much effort was put into making unique and creative levels for the Galaxy games. Anyway, I'm going a bit off topic here. This segment is supposed to be about the Rock Mushroom after all. So overall, the Rock Mushroom is a really good power-up that's made even greater by just how well it's utilized in Galaxy 2. Number 2, the Dash Pepper. And on the opposite end of the list, we have the last, and by far the best, Yoshi power-up. But then again, I guess by far the best doesn't really mean much when you see what the competition is. Still, the dash pepper is really good. When Yoshi eats it, he starts running extremely fast. So fast even that he can run on water and even up walls. This is mostly seen in Hytale Falls Galaxy, the galaxy centered around the dash pepper where you use it to climb up walls and dodge some obstacles to the star. Which is all made especially fun by the super fast and slightly uncontrollable nature of the dash pepper. By the way, you totally can't cheese the last section, guys, don't worry about that. Aside from that, the power-up is also used in Starshine Beach's Prankster Comet, where you try to collect 100 purple coins in 35 seconds while running on water with Yoshi, which is also a really enjoyable star. And honestly, I don't have much more to add. It's just really thrilling to go super fast and walk up walls. The dash pepper is just dumb fun, and it surprisingly works really well. It's one of the simplest yet most exhilarating power-ups in the Galaxy games. And at number 1, unsurprisingly, is the Cloud Flower. When Mario collects one of these, he turns into Cloud Mario and gains the ability to walk on clouds. He also becomes lighter, making him fall slower and allowing him to travel a slightly longer distance in the air. But what really makes the Cloud Flower so good is these little clouds floating behind Mario. When you spin, one of those little clouds gets used, I guess, creating a platform underneath Mario. And you get 3 clouds, meaning with this power-up, you can literally generate 3 platforms at a time, on the ground or in the air. And in a game like Mario Galaxy 2, that is absolutely broken. The distance you can travel without touching the ground with the Cloud Flower is genuinely crazy. The potential for cheese here is just endless. You can skip entire sections with just these 3 little platforms. Because let me remind you, you don't only get platforms, you're also lighter so you fall slower and go further in the air. On top of being able to generate 3 platforms out of nowhere, anytime and anywhere you want. I can't stress enough how good of an ability that is. The best part though is that not only is the Cloud Flower incredibly powerful, it's also a ton of fun to use. It feels really nice to breeze through levels with this thing. The Cloud Flower is what the Red Star wishes it could be, a really fun and powerful power-up that's also used in more than one galaxy. Another thing the Cloud Flower has in common with the Red Star is that they're both in their respective game's hub world. This time, you'll unlock a Cloud Flower on Starship Mario after beating Fluffy Bluff Galaxy's main mission. It's also pretty fun to play around with in here, even though Starship Mario is a pretty small hub. So all in all, the Cloud Flower is an extremely useful power-up that's a ton of fun to use, and that's why I think it deserves the title of the best power-up in Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the ranking in the comments, and always remember, the spring mushroom sucks.